Hey everybody, welcome back. Alchemists. I just wanted to hop on for a little bit today to touch base with everyone and see how everyone was doing. Um, Today is January 6th, 2023, or is it? um, Regardless, I'm sure you can all feel the energy that's coming through today. It's a very good day to kind of, you know, take a step back and connect intuitively with those full moon energies that are coming through. I guess I'll just read a little bit about what we're talking about today. What it means. So I mean, in the Algonquin tribe, the Algonquin Native American tribes, they called this moon the full wolf moon because it falls during the darkest part of winter. And this is a time when you would hear wolves howling outside of villages. And it's also known as the old moon, the ice moon, the snow moon, and the moon that follows Yule, or the winter solstice. As of right now, the way that the calendar is being viewed, 2023 is bookended by a pair of full moons. And the January 6th Cancer full moon and the second one on December 26th puts cherished bonds in the spotlight and invite us to be more emotionally expressive this year. And it's interesting, like I want to talk a little bit about how we can do that in a way that's, conscious, that's coming from a balanced place. Not to say that we shouldn't, express ourselves the way that we feel we need to. We absolutely should. But we have, so many influences out there coming through. We have media, and we have family, and we have all of these things that can push us and bring us to, have triggers and have things that set us off. And so if we're constantly allowing ourselves to be pushed around and triggered by these, obviously it's not serving us, right? Because our energy is so out of whack that we're not able to focus and do what we need to do. That said, we should pay attention to our triggers and figure out what's causing them so that we can work through whatever comes up. So, hey, Joe, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you being here. How are you doing today? Yeah, it's important for us to keep that in mind while we move forward, and that way we can go through these things in a balanced way and focus our energy in a way that actually serves us. So just a little story of what I was dealing with last week. I was traveling to go see family, and I was at the Atlanta International Airport. And if you are unaware, many airline services are currently like crashing right now, or like Southwest. Some of the other big ones are just not doing well. And I remember having worked really hard to plan everything out the day before, plan out where I was going to park and everything else. But I got there and then it was just a mess. All of the parking places were full, and long story short, the airport itself was such a mess that I missed my flight. And I had my two kids with me, and then there was also, at one point, there was even an alarm that was going off in the in the main area, saying that there was some kind of threat to the building. And you could tell like the difference between people who were more, I guess there were quite a few. Like there were those who were straight up just panicking and didn't know what to do and started, running. There were those who just kind of ambled around, you know, like they were kind of like zombies. And then there were those who were focused and were like, okay, what do I need to do? And I had to take a moment to really connect and center myself, and he would help my kids calm down and connect and say, okay, we're going to stay in our trust. We're not going to let this get to us. And yeah, it was just it was a really good exercise in us doing that day. And so we were taught, how with all these like massive amounts of crowds of people around us, how to do that even more. So we ended up, thankfully being able to take a flight the next day after we reset. And I think it was an important lesson. So yeah, just a great day. I feel to take stock of these kinds of lessons. Yeah, that very interesting. Yeah, air portals. Yeah, Joe, you said it really well. And I know that there was a lot of nefarious. I know that there has been a lot of nefarious things that have gone on through those. And interestingly enough, I pulled cards on that alarm and I got the 7 of Cups. So I think someone was trying to get something out of it, like in terms of what the desired result was. I don't know, like on the alarm itself. I don't know if it was just to scare people, to get them to, act a certain way, or what exactly it was, but it was interesting. And yeah, it was an important lesson. Yeah, Joe, I hear you. Sometimes there's only so much you can do. 3D life gets in the way, and this was a good lesson for me too. In that, just you have everything planned out, and maybe you're like even in that cloud 9 place meditating, but sometimes that 3D stuff pulls us back in, and on the one level it can make us frustrated and irritated, but on the other, I guess it can help us to say, okay, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do from here? Yeah, it's always hard. I mean, the more we are in tune with the universe, I guess the more that we're able to adjust, the easier it can be. But initially, there's always that moment of like, okay, now what do I need to do? And I guess the more in touch we are with our intuition, the better we can respond in those situations. So, yeah. And Joe, if you're interested, if you'd like, I'd be happy to pull cards for you. I'm just doing Oracle cards today. I'm still working on tarot, but I'm getting there. But I have Sacred Rebels and I have Ancestor Spirit cards. So if you're interested in a pull from either of those, please let me know. I think a lot of people are probably, recovering today. I feel like, I'm needing recovery after all of the what, we typically look at as like the holiday time. It's a lot of energy expended. Awesome. Joe, do you have a preference? Do you want me to pull Sacred Rebels or Ancestor Spirit? Got these two. All righty, sounds good. I'm just gonna here. Asking source, what message do you have through the ancestors for Joe today? All right, feeling this one. I have go after your goals. Let me see if I can get that well focused in the camera here. It says persist, encourage, advance. And let me go ahead. I'm going to look up the breakdown for this one. And I'll hold it up while I read. Okay. So it has a picture of Robert the Bruce. Born in 1274, Robert the Bruce claimed the Scottish throne and led an uprising against English rule. Thus, he is known as the father of Scottish independence. Robert the Bruce suffered many defeats on the way to establishing his authority and bided his time before moving forward to become King of Scotland. He was defeated twice in battle by the English before he went into hiding on a remote island off the coast of Ireland. It is said that he often became depressed during his time on the island. Then one day he saw a spider in his room. Robert the Bruce sat and watched the spider swinging from rafter to rafter, trying to make its web. It wasn't until its seventh attempt that the spider succeeded in making an anchor for its web. Robert the Bruce saw the spider as a sign that he must keep persevering for Scotland's independence. He then moved forward with his cause and was successful. The ancestors speak. It says, take charge and move forward in your life. The universe is encouraging you to pursue something that is important to you. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Go after it. You have been consciously working on yourself and are now ready to take on anything you want to achieve. Do not hesitate. Take this card as a sign that you can do more and be more. Stand up for your beliefs, stand your ground, and do not be swayed by opposing ideologies. For the divinatory meaning, it says, just as the universe endeavors to raise your spirits, it is time for you to encourage and inspire others. Joe, you already do that phenomenally, but I'm going to keep reading. A little positivity goes a long way. Try to support your loved ones, friends, or anyone you come in contact with. You may not realize how much it means to a person to have someone believe in them. A kind word can help someone going through hard times so they reach their goals. So, yeah, Joe, you already do all that phenomenally, but I guess it's just encouraging you to keep it up because we all really, really appreciate it. Hey, Ben, how are you? Thank you so much for asking, Joe. How are you doing today, Ben? How was your time off? How was everyone's time off? Joe, how was your time? I guess first I should ask, did you get to have a break? This is for anyone. And how was that time? How are you doing now? So yeah, let me know. But thank you for joining. Glad to have you here. I'm just absolutely, Joe, you got it. Yeah, I hear you. I'm glad they're over as well. And sometimes I feel like I could use a holiday from the holiday, if you know what I mean. Like the time. I mean, I personally do more celebrating a winter solstice, but I do celebrate, I get together with my family over that typical holiday time. So, but it was good overall. It says he's had a coffee. It's 8 a.m. So as good as it can be. Totally not a morning person. Yeah, same here, Ben. I hear you. I've been, working on that myself. Is today? Oh yeah, Ben, where are you? Where are you located? Are you in Australia? To be honest, I'm not sure. But Ben, can I pull a card for you as well? Yeah, I have Sacred Rebels and Ancestor Spirit. So let me know if either of these call to you, and if you'd like a card pull, I'd be happy to do so. Oh, nice. Sunny Brisbane, Australia. Yeah. I've always wanted to visit. I'm hoping to someday. All right. Go ahead with Ancestors. Source, Creator, asking message through the ancestors for Ben today. What would you like to tell him? All right. I'm feeling a buzz around this one. Enjoy music. Instruments, sound, tone. I'm going to look up the more in-depth meaning. So here we go. Ben, the Aymara people of South America were one of the first civilizations to create and use panpipes. Music remains a vital part of the spiritual and social events of the region. Aymaran ensembles consist of traditional wind and percussion instruments and are a feature of festivals and communal activities. The music of the Aymara reflects their community values. There is no bandleader or soloist, and musicians are welcome to join in at the festivals, whatever their ability. New pieces are created for every event and composed in rehearsal as a group effort. Music is about the collective. Acting and creating is one, with the men playing instruments and the women singing and dancing. Connect with the healing power of music. Oh, this is the portion called The Ancestors Speak. Connect with the healing power of music. Let go of the need to be good or acceptable and sing, dance, and play with music. Look at what inspires you and makes your heart and soul sing. Try finding yourself through music, expressing yourself through music. You might also feel drawn to connect with your community through music. For the divinatory meaning, it says, nice. Music is creative. It opens your heart and mind, relaxes you, and allows you to nourish yourself and others. Be inventive. Do not be afraid or embarrassed to try new ways of creating sounds. Reconnect with your musical spirit. You can enjoy creating music whether you are a beginner or a seasoned professional. Share your songs and sounds with others. Take time each day to relax, listen to and enjoy your favorite music. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, very much so. Music can means harmony too. Yeah. Ben, what kind of music do you like to listen to, or do you play music? Um, what kind of music do you like to interact with in the morning? It really does help. I know for me, I do morning meditation and sometimes listen. I need a trip to Home Depot to sing out loud in the store. Nice. I love it, Jay. Yeah, Joe. They actually have pretty good music. Eclectic stuff. Very cool. Yeah, very cool. I don't know. Do you like to? I mean, I'll do the thing where if I'll sing uh badly when no one's around, or I don't know. The only one to judge me is my cat most of the time. So, but I also just have fun with it. Wow, that's amazing. Native American pan flute. Oh man. How long have you been playing for, Ben? That sounds fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. Joe, I bet you bring everyone up when you do. That's great. I know it's funny, like there's some stores that play music I can't stand, and then there's others where it's like, oh yeah, this is great. And actually I've always liked Home Depot. Buddha Bar, okay. Cool. I'm not familiar with that one, but it sounds good. Try to get people to join you, Joe. That's fantastic. Do you ever get like the musical experience sometimes, like that people actually join in out of Spanish, Arabic, Greek? Wow, that is really cool. Huh. I'll have to check that out. Buddha Bar. I'm familiar with that. So it's like a group that like they do kind of fusion, it sounds like. Eclectic fusion, would you say? Like eclectic fusion world music? Or like relaxing. Nice. I love it, Joe. Um, yeah, we'll have to look him up on Spotify. That sounds great. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love that kind of music. I love most kinds. So I mean, the only thing that I have trouble with is like modern country and modern rap and modern rock. Like there's some of the more like really modern stuff. I can't really do a lot of newer music. Unless it's like maybe if it's like you're talking about, or more European, I guess, or Middle Eastern sometimes. I do like most kinds of music though, so that's really cool. Um, all good, Joe. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'll just go for a little longer. Yeah, just a little more on the and Ben, do you also play music? I wanted to ask. Do you play an instrument, or is that something that you're interested in doing? As for me, I used to play piano years ago as a kid and was in choirs. Um, but haven't for some time. Yeah, that's a great way to do it, Ben. Um, and it's great how music can help us process so much. You know, like you're saying, heal ourselves. There's a lot of music can be so cathartic, help us process emotions. Um, and I found like there's a difference too. Like when I'm listening to music, sometimes I'll be really considerate of like, well, how is this making me like process or feel? Like, is it making me move forward or is it making it harder for me? Um, yeah. So, but usually, like I try to pick something that helps me get through something. Yeah, courage or motivation too. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah, I love to do that as well. Um, and it can. I've actually been finding a lot of songs that I like that have been on YouTube that have been adjusted to be in 432 hertz, which has been really cool. Um, I'll still listen to music that isn't, but it's great to find that because then you get like the double the double benefit too. Um, and I've been sharing some of that on my Telegram here and there when I come across it, um, and it can be really really nice. And it's like, man, I wish they'd done this from the beginning, like just recorded all this stuff in 432 hertz. But I think we're gonna collectively move in that direction as awareness of it increases. Um, and like the awareness that our bodies resonate with different frequencies and all of that too. Um, and I say that, I mean, it's funny. I still listen to I'll listen to like I said, all kinds of things. So like I'll listen to even not the like screamy loud, like the screamy stuff, but the more power stuff, like power metal, things like that, or symphonic metal, which is so very encouraging and uplifting and motivating. Um, and classic music, reggae, absolutely love it. Like love classic rock and all that stuff. Um, and that kind of goes back to, I'm just going to take that back a little bit here to the the Cancer full moon, with it being like opposed by Mercury retrograde. Um, it's great to figure out what those things are that help us to kind of reconnect and settle and get through, which can be the right music, very much so. Um, and especially like looking at the political stuff going on right now. Um, it's a great time to be in your heart and figure out what's really making it resonate. Um, you may find it to be a time where triggering emotions come up as well. So again, right, like the right music, the right song can really help us through that. It could also be the right people. Um, you might find some people acting wildly out of character too, though. So um, just be aware and use it to, um, you know, to be in your heart space and figure out what you really want to do, and who you want to be around, who's helping you feel secure at this time. And whether that's not just, being on your own. Sometimes that's what really matters. And then it's also a great time to, strengthen your roots and your security. And that can be, related to your home, like what you're doing financially. Maybe we could consider putting like investments into certain things, like at this time, that $30 you put in savings, maybe go and get an ounce of silver with it while you still can. I have no doubt that very soon we're going to see silver take its place. We're finally at the point where the commodities exchange can't keep up anymore. And I know it's been frustrating for a lot of people who are hoping to see changes happen more quickly, but these things are so, the things like the financial system, they're so big, they require time to adjust. So, yeah, just figure out what you value and what you want to focus on right now. And in addition to saving with funds, think about things that you can do that you don't even need to worry about for money. Just being with friends, your soul family, like we are right now. And even just getting out to a park or whatever it is. And think about too, like how you're nurturing relationships with people who care for you. Those people who are always there, like give consideration to them. It's so important because they're giving so much, and as long as they're not doing it to be obnoxious, but they're giving so much, it's really important for us to take the time to recognize that, to return that energy in a way that is loving, that honors Christ consciousness and helps us grow together. And also, it's another time like for us to take stock of how well we're nourishing and caring for ourselves with the right food, with the right amount of hydration. Are we getting enough sleep? Whatever it might be, it's also, if you're not hurting your own boundaries, reach out to people who might mean a lot to you. Call, that person who's there for you, like that mother figure. We all lead busy lives full of demands and distractions and devices that beep at us. And it might feel like we have less time for loved ones than we did before the era of the smartphone. But it's all about choices, and we can take the time to set a time to talk with someone. And as someone who lost a family member around this time of year a couple of years back, and he wasn't intentionally trying to in his life. My brother passed. It's been a little over 2 years now. Hey, Malika, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. But I know that he had been clean for a very long time, and yet he was having a rough period because he was missing family. And I think his girlfriend had given him something, and it ended up having fentanyl in it. And unfortunately, that's what took him out. Now, knowing what I know now about how there's so much that we, choose before we come, like we choose so much of our lives and when we're going to go as well. And knowing that, he had already laid out his life beforehand is really encouraging. But even so, it was an important reminder for me to, when we're on this 3D plane, reach out to those family members and loved ones. Thank you so much, Joe. Yeah, honestly, it's sad, and I miss him in one way, like in a 3D way. And I especially miss my son getting to spend time with him because they really connected. But yet at the same time, I still very much feel his presence, and I'm very aware of his presence, and know that he's encouraging and helping from the other side. So that's a huge blessing. Malika, if you like, I am offering oracle readings. I've got ancestor spirits and sacred rebels. So please feel free to, if you'd like a reading from either one, let me know which one you'd like. And if you don't want a reading, that's fine too. Glad you're getting to work on your website. That's fantastic. Joe, that's wonderful because, like, I'm wondering is that because sometimes we don't know if it's the last time we talk to them? Is that why? Or is it just something you feel compelled to do? And while I'm waiting here back, I'm just going to read a little bit more. Oh, both. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I really resonate with that, and just the importance of, helping people to know that they're valued, and that they are valuable, because so much of what we deal with in this world tears us away from that and has us acting from that place of lack. I've been listening to a lot of Billy Carson lately, and his motivational material, and it's great if it's your vibe. But he talks a lot about how, so much of what we receive is what we give out. So the more that we can give out that loving energy, the more we can help it grow. The more that we honor Christ consciousness, universal consciousness, So yeah, it's so important. And yeah, Malika, if you'd like a reading, please let me know. I'm going to keep going through this at the moment, though, unless I hear back. And if you can't actually get together with someone, you can still connect. Like, you can write them a letter, or, and honestly, these days, like, letters have become so outdated that they've, like, by technology, that they've become so much more meaningful when someone actually takes the time to sit down and handwrite something to you. It's such a powerful thing to do. And you pour your energy into, what you write too on a computer or a phone, but it really, like, can be felt in a physical letter. And yeah, it requires a little bit extra from us, but it really does make a huge difference. So, let's see. One way you can think of the first full moon of 2023 in Cancer is as the astrological Mother's Day. And, it's a great time to reach out to those kinds of figures in our lives. whether it's a mother or a wife or, someone who's a mother, who maybe needs some support as well. Maybe they need some extra hands around the house or just some help with their kids or, running an errand or something like that. Um, but yeah. Um, Another great thing to do at this Cancer full moon is to take stock of your mood. Um, it can unblock dammed up emotions, and there can be a lot of, grievances that come out or um, lingering resentments that we need to work through and heal. Um, and actually, this is, personal, um, something that I've been having to really work through. So I have two littles, and they were both given the thing in the arm without my consent and without my knowledge. Actually, I didn't really find out, except they said something to me, and I figured it out. Um, and then I asked about it, and I found out, yeah, that had been done, and it was really hard for me these last couple of weeks to work through that. Um, and I've had to, work through a lot of grief, because unfortunately it was legalized here in the U.S. So even for like 6 months to 4-year-olds, and I remember, like it's so challenging because I remember um, hounding the board that was making those decisions a few months ago and who approved it, and you know um, emailing, calling them, and everything else. And it can be so frustrating for us, right? Like when we get to that point, like, well, it's out of our hands. Um, at that point, really, the only thing that we can do is trust and grow. Um, Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate that. Um, it really is a blessing. Thank you for your prayers. And I, at the same time, like I had to, really work through the anger that I felt towards their mom for doing that. For the first time, like having felt that much anger and not letting it turn into something that, you know, blackpilled me or anything like that, but actually I went out into the woods to meditate, to take time to work through those feelings in my heart space and my heart chakra, to release and forgive. And at the same time, like, maintaining um, the boundary and making it clear, why I feel that that's inappropriate and wrong, and why, you know, why I'm not okay with it. So yeah, it was a tough situation, but I'm feeling much better after having been able to do that the other day. And still trying to figure out the best way forward, but it's always a process, right? Um, yeah, thank you very much, Joe. So another thing that we can look at is how we can enjoy food, and it with the stress of the holiday season, it is easy to numb feelings with mindlessly eating, and I had to work through some of that myself. But trying to figure out what's balanced, not to deprive ourselves, finding like something that's healthy and comforting that we really enjoy, um, or maybe like a great cookbook that we can indulge with. Actually, been really enjoying working with pesto lately and making different dishes with that. Um, and it's also a great time to, a great time to do things a little differently around your house, like maybe redecorate, do a walkthrough of your home and consider, the different spaces, different corners. we get accustomed to, piled up second bedrooms. I'm in one right now. This is a guest room. Cluttered up shelves and knickknacks and stuff like that. That just, the stuff that you end up putting down and don't have time to deal with. And then it can be important to move out that old energy if it's not something that's serving us that we just don't need to have around. It's a great time to do that as well, because that helps to clear our minds. That helps us to reset. But also, and it could just be like one little thing, right? Like I feel like it's important not to get overwhelmed and try to do too much, but just starting with like one little area and giving it a, just a makeover, whatever that, little bit is, whether it's just cleaning one part of a room, finding some stuff to give away in a closet. You have kids, like some of their old toys, asking them, like getting them involved and saying like, what do you feel like you don't need to hold on to anymore? Like what's no longer serving you? And then helping them to think about it. It's always tricky with kids and toys, but giving them those healthy habits helps serve so much later in life. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna let's see. Oh yeah, and then I mean, if you want, you could go even further than that. You can, repaint a wall or even go on to remodel or anything else if you have the energy. But it's also a great time to just maybe bring in some plants, right? Since we're at this, the wolf moon is like this cold and dark part of the year. It can be a great time to bring in some new life. So, the next time you see a plant that you connect with, bring it home, see if it's right for you. You get the benefit of the fresh oxygen, that symbiotic relationship that we have with plants, the going back and forth. And it really does brighten up a room. Like it's amazing. I've noticed the difference between having one and not having one around. They really do, add so much to a room and make it feel a lot more just livable and relaxing. But I think I'm gonna end it there. I would just offer, if you're able to, just take some time to yourself today, relax, find that time to reconnect if you need to. Planning to do some more interviews in the near future, so stay tuned. And just want to say thank you all so much for being here. If you do want to release something, tonight's a great time to do a full moon release, where you write down things you want to let go, and then you can burn it or whatever, and just move on. So yeah, anyways, much gratitude to all of you for being here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend and enjoy your time relaxing today. Thanks so much, Joe. I love you too, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Take care.